is no tomorrow.
There you go. Just had to add myself. Friday, May 3rd. A morning live. I'll get the hang of this one day. I'll get a time that I start doing these on a normal basis. But it's Friday. It's fight week. We got the fight tomorrow. Want to come on, do a quick live, see who is picking Jaime Mungia in the fight tomorrow with Canelo Alvarez. I am not. I think Canelo's going to knock Mungia out. I think Mungia is going to fight his fight, and he's going to bring it. But I think he is going to knock. I think that Canelo is going to knock Mungia out. And I just want to see if people really think he has a chance. Big Mike, what's going on, man? You know, we're talking Canelo. You know, yesterday I entertained myself, and all day, I mean, it was the whole Ryan Garcia debacle with the drug test. And I thought about doing a live, but I'd be talking about what everyone else is talking about, and I don't know much about the drugs. I do know that Ryan Garcia has 10 days from when he tested, or I don't know what the date is, but maybe when he was notified of the positive test. He has 10 days to ask for his B sample to be tested. You know what? My guess is he's going to take a stance and say, you know what? This is a witch hunt, and I'm not even going to get my B sample tested, because chances are the B sample, it's going to test positive as well too. So yesterday was all that talk, just, you know. So I mean, everybody was talking about it because it's what's going on, and it kind of took away from the fight. But I think the funny thing is Ryan Garcia blaming it on ashwagandha.
Thank you for helping me beat Devin Haney, ashwagandha group. Thank you for giving me the left foot power. No rematch. No rematch. And no getting. I like it.
So Devin Haney was on ESPN. I saw that this morning too, and he doesn't want a rematch. Man, I mean, I'm not a drug expert, so I really want to talk Canelo Mungia, but I do want to say some people are saying that you need 6 to 8 weeks on that drug that he tested positive for. And I guess he had some previous drug tests leading up to the fight that he was clean. So I don't know, man. It's just murky. But the funnest part of this week
seems to have trouble remembering who helped him become a true global star. To be clear, I have nothing but respect for Canelo Alvarez as a fighter. His record and abilities speak for themselves. But he has spent much of the last 2 months insulting me rather than promoting this fight. So I'll make it a little bit easier for him. Yes, I have faced a lot of challenges in my life. Yes, I've been to rehab several times. Yes, there were some really low points in my life, and yes, there were times that work was not my priority based on my mental health, which I had neglected for so long. But that doesn't change the fact that Golden Boy built Canelo Alvarez, period. The company you fought under for decades has always had one name, and it's mine. So put some respect on it. As for Jaime, he has always dared to be great, just as he's this Saturday night. And this serves as a bit of a full circle for him. Remember when Jaime was 21 years old, volunteered to step in against Triple G, and Canelo failed 2 drug tests? Though Jaime wasn't allowed to fulfill his dream, 2018, on Saturday night, he will do just that, fulfill his dream and be world champion.
So there you have it. That was the funnest part of this week. Yeah, Mike, the sad part is many of our favorite fighters will pop one time or another. Some people get a pass and some don't. Yeah, it is what it is, man. You know, since it's not a sanctioned, it doesn't have a governing body, one governing body, so everybody does what they want. You know, Canelo popped and blamed it on meat and got a 6-month suspension. So, but that right there, that was the funnest part of the week, and it did its job. It got me hyped for the fight. But the reason why I'm on here, I really do, you know, you look at the odds, and this is probably kind of hard to see. But Mungia Canelo's a big favorite, which he should be. The over-under, you see the odds. So I don't see Mungia winning this fight. Now, it's boxing. Yes, anything can happen. But I think Canelo's going to knock him out. Just think. The fight that Canelo had, that Mungia had with Deverenchenko. Man, I just watched that fight again, and he struggled in that fight against an older fighter who's past his prime, who's small. Imagine if Canelo fought Deverenchenko and struggled like that. Everybody would say he's washed, he's done, he's finished. But that's who Mungia fought. And I know how Mungia looked in his last fight against John Ryder, the same John Ryder who Canelo beat up. I know that. I don't see Canelo winning this. Mungia winning this fight. So I want to get some picks. If I've got the link out there. I'm not going to do this live long because a lot of people do lives in the morning. There's a lot of competition. So who's picking Jaime Mungia and why? And I don't belittle people's picks because I can't pick. I picked Devin Haney among many, and maybe that wasn't such a bad pick. All the scandal, too, about the betting and if it gets overturned. Because remember, it hasn't been overturned. Nothing has happened yet. Right now, it's still a loss. There's 10 days. If Ryan Garcia doesn't get his B sample submitted, then he's out. Oh, man.
Yo,
my man. What's going on, brother?
what's going on? Finally linking up, man. How's everything?
Hey, man, the Knicks won last night. We got some boxing tomorrow. So everything's good.
Yeah, it's a Friday, right? It's a beautiful Friday here in Queens.
It's a Friday, so, man, I can't complain. Everything good with you?
Yeah, everything's good. I got the alert. I usually don't get alerts for some reason, but I was sitting there, I popped up, so I jumped in.
Those alerts, I set them too, and I don't know, man. I don't know YouTube, so
It's a little flawed.
Yeah. Who do you got in the fight tomorrow?
I got to go. If everything's in place and Canelo doesn't get old overnight, I think Mungia is tailor-made for him. I think he's made for him from head to toe.
Exactly. That's what I think, and you're right. I don't think Canelo is going to get old overnight. I think he's going to beat Mungia down because Mungia is going to come. He's going to keep coming, but he's going to feel that power. And Canelo's got a great chin. So Mungia is not going to knock Canelo out. No way. So by winning, he's going to have to outbox him. He's not going to outbox Canelo. I don't see it.
Now, you know what the tell is to this fight? Like you said, it's the chin. And I think if Triple G couldn't rock Canelo, it's not going to happen. I don't think Mungia possesses Triple G's power. And I think that's it. I think if he was able to withstand that, Mungia's got no shot. And the tell is going to be when Canelo comes in with the body shot, the left hook to that body on Mungia, because he's a big body.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a smaller fighter. It's harder to get in on a smaller fighter to the body. But that body's there to be hit, so... If Mungia reacts iffy to it in the first 3 rounds, Canelo's got him.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, Canelo, Triple G couldn't hurt him. He fought Kovalev too, and I think Kovalev wasn't the Kovalev from a few years before, but Canelo's been in with Kovalev. Kovalev never hurt him.
No, never.
He's got a chin. You know what's funny? When I think about Canelo, the very first fight I saw of him, this is back when I was at HBO. He fought Miguel Cotto's little brother. And I forget what Cotto's little brother's name is, at 140. And Cotto's little brother rocked Canelo in the first round. I mean, stunned him and was all over him. And I remember Canelo came back and won. I remember saying after that fight, like I'm some kind of expert, saying, man, this guy's got no chin, man. He just got hurt by that guy. And then all these years later, the guy's never been knocked down. He's never been really hurt, and he's been in against bombers. So, it's funny. That fight, he got rocked, but I think that's the most hurt I've ever seen him, and he's been in with almost everyone.
Yeah, No, I think it might have been Jose Cotto or something like that.
Jose, that's right, Jose.
It might have
Yep.
been Jose, but he stumbled him, I believe. He got all wobbly in his legs when against the ropes, and I guess that goes against my point that I made that Mungia can hurt him because listen, it's boxing. You land the right punch, it doesn't matter. You're going down. But no, I think like we said, if it's everything's in place and Canelo's not old, he takes him. I don't know if he stops him, but he's gonna hurt him. He's gonna
Yeah.
hurt him. I don't like. I just want to say I don't like when people go back to the Ryder fight and they compare that because if you go back to that fight, he beat the brakes off him, man. He
did.
Bad.
Yeah, he did.
Sometimes that's worse than a knockout. To be honest with
Yeah,
you,
he did.
You know that. So he punished the hell out of him. So we're gonna see.
Well, you know what though? A lot of people just they look at box rec or they just compare records like, oh, he only decisioned this guy and he knocked him out. But Canelo beat Ryder. He beat, like you said, he beat the brakes off him, and he had all that punishment going into the Mungia fight. So, you can't say just because he knocked him out. It's a bad comparison. I just think Mungia, man. I see him getting beat down tomorrow night.
So, listen, anything can happen. He's a little bit. What's the height difference? Because I know Mungia is about 6.
Yeah, he's got at least 3 inches on him, at least.
Well, Canelo, they like to say he's 5'8". He's about 5'7". If you go back to his original fights, he was 5'7", and then eventually he went 5. Some fights he's 5'9", but he's been 5'8" lately. So listen, that height difference can make a difference, but Mungia comes low, like you said. He just comes in, and he ain't gonna use it.
But you know what? It's going to be what it's going to be. It's not going to be a Canelo Charlo fight because Mungia is going to come and he's going to try to win. So it's going to be, however long it goes, it's going to be an exciting fight, and people know that.
Great fight.
People know that. So I can't wait. People early in the week were saying there wasn't a lot of buzz. I don't know if there was or not. I don't really get excited unless it's a mega fight, and this isn't a mega fight. But this is the kind of fight that Thursday, Friday. Now I'm excited. When Oscar was beefing with Canelo, I was excited, and that worked. I'm sure it made some people want to see the fight, even though Oscar's not fighting. So there you go.
Well, you know what? One thing about that, Oscar's mad. You see it in his face. You see he took that very personally. He was ready to fight. The fighter came back at him. It's like, when he was in against Ike Corte and Ike was catching him and Oscar was wanting to come back. He has that instinct, He had that same look in his eye.
Yeah. Oscar, man,
Oscar,
he got in Canelo's head a little bit too, because Canelo got rattled. He got up and so now look, I don't.
The truth hurts, bro.
And I don't think that it's going to affect him because Canelo's a pro, man. Canelo might have been mad in that moment, but when the bell rings, all he's going to see is Mungia. He's not going to see Oscar. Canelo's not a kid. He's a pro. But in that moment, he got to him. And Oscar, like you knew something was going to happen. But Oscar, I mean, if you had to, Oscar won that round. He definitely won that round. And it made me more excited for the fight.
He handled it with class, I believe.
Yeah. And he also, I read that through his lawyers, there's a cease and desist order against Canelo now for Canelo saying, because Canelo said he stole from Triple G and he stole from him. Yeah. So I try not to talk about that. Nah, that's like yesterday.
We'll never know the truth.
We don't know. And the whole thing with the drugs with Haney and Garcia, like, man, whatever, man.
You know what, George? Unfortunately, the harsh truth of the situation is most of our favorite fighters, I'm not going to say all because there's no absolutes, but most of our favorite fighters got popped at one-time run.
You know
what I mean?
You've been around fighters, so I would say to anyone, like, if you see a fighter somewhere and you're talking to, like, ask a fighter about drugs. Every single fighter I've talked to off camera, not on camera, they'll tell you, yeah, that guy's using. He's using. This guy's using. It's just, it is what it is, man. And if Garcia popped, if he was using, who's shocked?
Yeah, who's shocked is right.
Nobody. So, yeah, I tried to. There wasn't much for me to say about it, but
It's disappointing. I'll give it that because listen, there's two different types of people. I believe some people don't care about steroid use. Some people do. I'm one of those people. I feel like it's not an even playing field at that point, so I'm against it. But let's be real. Like Paulie said, boy Paulie, to be at that level, you have to do it. It's like unspoken, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
That's
So
what we all love.
we'll see how it plays out. I mean, he's got 10 days to get his B sample tested and whatever. But I'm looking forward to Saturday. The undercard is not very good. I'm hoping now. Amazon Prime. Did you watch their first show that they had?
I did.
The Zoo Fundora.
I protested.
I don't blame you. I don't.
I'm just gonna be honest with you. Listen, when something's worth my money, I have no problem. It's like good food. I have no problem paying for great food. I go out of my way to pay for great food. I travel for it. Just like I'll go out of my way to pay for great boxing. But, some things are pay-per-view worthy and some things just aren't. And like you say, the numbers
Perfect.
will tell. You got to take a stance. You got to show them.
No, I hear you. I hear you. I didn't think it was. It's funny. It's like. And I respect your opinion, and I didn't think it was pay-per-view worthy either. But the numbers, like if it made them money, then it was. They don't now. They never release pay-per-view numbers anymore. But what they did that I like, what they did that I hope this card does, they kept it moving. That main event was in the ring, I think before 11:30. When a fight was over, they kept it moving. The Zone. The fight, like the Haney Garcia fight, it's like 12:30, quarter to 1 before they got in the ring.
Yeah, because I fell asleep. I set a timer. When I woke up for the timer, it still wasn't on. I said, too late. Way too late.
So I'm hoping that they keep it moving. But the undercard, Yeah. The undercard, but these are like this kind of fight, you just want to see the main event. And I'm excited, man. I think Canelo's going to stop. He's either going to stop him or Mungia's chin is going to carry him through, but I think he's going to take a beating, man. I really do. But I'm excited for it.
Yeah. I think late. If it's going to get stopped, it'll probably be later on.
Yeah.
10, 11, 12.
So we'll see. But, man, hey, it's good to – dude, it's good to talk to you, man. Finally, because I've been, we've talked before texting and everything. But now, you're watching the fights tomorrow, right?
No, yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be watching. Are you jumping on afterwards? Doing a live?
I probably will. Depending how late it is. Depending really what happens.
You know what it's like? You know what I equated to when I was a young kid? I used to watch wrestling. I remember on a Sunday night. I'd watch wrestling. It was a late pay-per-view. For me, it was late. And I'd be so hyped up, I couldn't sleep. I wouldn't need to talk to somebody about it. I had no brothers and sisters. So now with the internet, we have guys coming on doing shows after the fight. So I know there's other people out there like me, so now we connect together. It's pretty fun.
It is.
Ex-fighters, ex-champions doing it. It's cool stuff.
It is cool. Well, brother, we'll talk soon, and let's talk off camera, because like the podcast that you guys do, I love it, man.
Did you checked it out?
Yeah, of course I did, and because it's a completely different topic, it's a completely different world, so it's really cool, man.
I got a good story about Paulie, too. I was around Paulie a little bit. I'm sure he remembers, but we'll talk.
All right, well, we'll definitely talk, brother. All right, man.
Thank you for having me on. Take care.
Absolutely, bro. My man Mike. So Big Surge is picking Mungia. Well, listen, brother, there's a link in there. I want to see and this is not an argument. I'm not going to argue people down. AB. Salute. What's up, AB? Champ Ross fan. I have to get back to that fantasy league because that's big stuff. So big surge. Feel free to click on the link, jump in. I just want to know why you think Mungia is going to win. Tech Dumb Dad, what's up, chat? Getting hyped for this fight. I'm hyped too. All right, so here's why. Hopefully, with a great plan, he will force Canelo to fight the first 6 rounds, withstand his hard punches, and outwork him after the 6 and up. Canelo gets really tired after 5 rounds. We'll see. We'll see, because let's be honest, I don't think he knocks Canelo out. So he's going to have to outpoint him. So he's going to have to outbox him. He's going to have to outfight him. I don't know, man. I'm hard pressed to see it happen. And maybe I'm putting too much on the Deverenchenko fight. Maybe that's my bad. Maybe I'm putting too much on that, and how Mungia struggled so much in that fight. Because he struggled, man. He struggled in that fight. And I know it was 2 fights ago, but I have a hard time getting that out of my head. Tech Done Dad, that's what I'm saying. In old Deverenchenko, Rock Mungia, his chin will be tested by Canelo. So do I. I see the same thing. Now, I could be totally wrong. Mungia, he's with Freddie now, so I can't see him really tightening up his defense. But he's a big kid. He's got heart. He's a man, not a kid. Yeah, Barrio, yes. I'm looking forward to seeing that too. Adam Hurley. I think Canelo gets him, but rooting for Mungia. All right. Why are you rooting for Mungia? Listen, there's a link in there. So I really just want to see if people think Mungia's got a true shot. Mungia should have fought a couple of upper-class fighters before Canelo. Well, maybe. Tech Dumb Dad, let me grab my headset. I want to gab a little. All right, brother, jump on. So getting back to this, we'll see. Let me get my man in.
What's up, George?
You got that headset on?
Yeah.
All right.
It's boxing. Of course, Mungia has a chance.
Of course.
I just don't. I think that Derevinchenko fight actually showed us a lot more of what Mungia really is than, there's 2 fights ago. I get that. But the next 2 opponents were tailor-made for him.
Yeah.
And Derevinchenko was not having any of that.
I'm the same as you. Like, that fight, really, he struggled big time with a guy who's older, who really is a 160-pounder. He's not big.
And for many rounds was taking everything Mungia had to give him, too.
And giving it back.
Right
yes.
Back. Yeah.
So, I put a lot on that fight. I think what a lot of people put a lot of stock in is the Ryder fight. And it's hard to compare that because Canelo put a beating on Ryder. So Ryder took that punishment into Mungia.
I think he was washed. I think Ryder was ready to leave anyways. Win or lose that fight, he was going to retire. And you're talking about a guy that was at retirement.
Yeah.
So let's not put too much stock into that. Plus, he had just taken an absolute beating from Canelo.
And it was a beating.
I think it showed in that fight.
Yeah, so it's like, you can't play that game, well, this guy, he knocked this guy out, this guy didn't. It's hard to do that because, yes, styles make fights and blah, blah. But I don't know, man. Mungia, I just have whatever is going to happen is going to happen. Going in, I can't see him hurting Canelo.
Nope.
I don't see him outboxing Canelo. Someone in the chat said he can maybe outwork him in the later rounds.
This whole
I
Canelo
don't see it.
Gassed after 5 rounds that's ridiculous to me. Look, the championship rounds, the last few fights, he really slows down. But it's also because he knows he has the fight won.
Yeah.
Against Ryder, he actually went for the stoppage there late in the fight. You could tell he was trying to get him out of there. So
he was.
Gasses out too early. I don't buy that. I think he's learned how to pace himself with what gas tank he has now. And so he's loading up on shots and not throwing as many combinations. And he doesn't move around the ring a lot like he used to. So he's saving gas there. But I'm interested to see. This comes down to Canelo's defense and counterpunching, and he's a master at it. The defense is there, the footwork is there, the head movement's there, and the counterpunching is just it's impeccable.
Yeah. And Derevyanchenko is not a huge puncher.
No.
And he hurt Mungia. Canelo's a much bigger puncher.
Absolutely.
Than him. So we'll see. But that's sometimes the beauty of boxing. If every fight went the way we all thought it would go, it would be boring.
Here's what it's still going to be an entertaining fight. I guarantee you that.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
It's going to be entertaining, and that's what we want. Win, lose, or draw, I don't care who wins. I really don't. I don't have a horse in this race. I like them both. I really like Mungia. I think he could be, but that chin worries me.
Yeah.
With how much he gets hit.
Yeah.
And we saw that with Joe Joyce. Everybody was talking about how granite chins, they eventually crack. Well, that's the way we've seen it happen. Now with Canelo, that's different. Because I can't even think of a time I've ever seen him rocked.
You know something? I had my man Mike was in talking. The only time I saw him hurt, and I said this at the beginning of this live, he fought Jose Cotto, Miguel Cotto's brother, years ago. Yeah. And little Cotto rocked Canelo in the first round with a right hand, was all over him, like Canelo's legs dipped. He was all over him. He didn't drop him. He didn't stop him. But I remember saying after that fight, boy, this Canelo, he's got no chin. So what do I know? And that was he's been in with Kovalev and Triple G and on and on and on, and he's never been dropped, never been hurt, except for that fight 10, really 12, weird. 14 years ago. It's really weird. That's the one thing that when that fight was over.
Well, that was before he developed his Tyson neck.
Right. And he was younger, and so what? Like, you can't base it on one fight, because going way back, Ali got dropped by Muhammad Ali, then Cassius got dropped by Henry Cooper. And people said, oh, he's got no chin, and then he beat Sonny Liston. So, but it's funny that he did get rocked in that fight, and his chin has been, tested by some bombs. And
Triple G, name me a harder puncher.
3 times with Triple G. Yeah. So,
well,
yeah.
I kind of count that third one. Triple G was a dinosaur.
You know what? That was a weird fight too, because in that fight, Canelo, if you want to talk about the fading, Triple G came on later in that fight because Canelo had such a big lead. I tried to leave that fight out because Triple G also at 168 or however much I forget how much he weighed, but he didn't look like himself. It was a payday. But Canelo's got a chin, man.
Yeah, he does.
Canelo, he's got
neck.
He's definitely, if you're ranking the chins in the sport, he's up there, top 5 in boxing. So, and Mungia's not a boxer. He's not a Bivol. So
and I heard the other day that's weird. I heard somebody that WBC told Canelo fighting Mungia over the title, and I was like, not. He's a cash cow. But
your audio's breaking up a little bit. What'd you say?
I said I heard that the WBC basically told Canelo, "You're fighting Mungia, or we're taking your belt." And I said, I don't know if I believe that.
No way.
No
way. He could fight me, and they would sanction it.
Yeah.
He could fight you, and the WBC would sanction it. They're not taking his belt. They're not taking his belt. There's no way. There's no way.
I think this is an entertaining fight, but he's tailor-made for Canelo.
Yeah, I don't see it going. The over/under is 10.5 rounds, and I think Canelo's going to want to take him out. You take the over?
I take the under on that.
Yeah. So would I. I take the under, but. Look, I'm excited. I want to see the fight. Oscar and Canelo got me excited. Their beef.
It did.
It got. I was watching that like, oh, this is. We all like that trash talk.
I texted you right after, and I was like, oh, I'm hyped.
Yeah, me too. Yes. You know,
Canelo say, motherfucker.
listen, it is the funniest thing when Canelo curses in English.
It's so great.
I love, like, I wish he would just curse all the time because I think it's some of the funniest stuff.
You know what?
And he was mad
because he gets.
Well, he was, but he was so pissed at Oscar. He was so pissed at Oscar though that he started. He wasn't even doing it in English. He started cursing in Spanish because it got to him quick.
Yeah, my wife and I were watching it, and I said, "Look, you could tell he's pissed because he went from English to Spanish, and he is giving it the business right now."
Yeah. So I'm excited, man. So I wanted to jump on.
I do think Oscar could. This could play bad for Oscar and on Mungia's part, though. You don't want to give Canelo, of all people, extra motivation to go out and beat your fighter.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to alter Canelo's game plan at all, but
it might make them punches a little bit harder.
Yeah, you're right. Why give another guy inspiration? I think Oscar thinks that, like I heard what Oscar said after, like, yeah, I got under skin. But Canelo, come on, man. There's nothing that's really, once the bell sounds, I remember when Teofimo Lopez and Kambosos fought. That first round, Teofimo Lopez came out in a fury, and was all emotion, and he ended up getting dropped in that round. It was the weirdest thing. I'm like, because he kept saying how he was going to kill Kambosos, he was going to knock him out, and he was pure emotion. Canelo's not going to do that. Canelo's not going to be pointing at Oscar and throwing bombs at Mungia. Canelo's a pro, man. So
he's a consummate professional.
Yeah, Oscar didn't get into his head. He got into his head that moment. He did.
Yeah.
But it's not going to affect the fight. But for people like me and you, we see a press conference like that, I love trash talk is awesome. What Ryan Garcia was doing, his kind of talk was ignorant and stupid and foolish. Yeah. Trash talk like this, F you.
Yeah.
Man, bring it on. Just do it.
I want that locker room talk. Yeah. I want that stuff.
Yeah.
I
So
want that high school bully stuff.
yeah, it made me excited, but the odds are just I can't see it. The over under is 10.5. The under, it's plus 155.
Goodness.
So
plus 380 on Mungia, huh?
So, they're not astronomical, but they're big. The good thing about all of this too is that Canelo's saying, people are asking him about fighting David Benavidez, and he's saying he will. If the money's right, he will. So time will tell, but now I'm hearing Berlanga is going to be next for him.
I hope not. I would rather see Mungia and Berlanga. And then, then you can talk about a Canelo fight if you get past Mungia or some of these other top guys. Berlanga hasn't impressed me lately.
No.
And I've been down on Berlanga for a couple of years now, 2 or 3 years now. I think he kind of plateaued. He hasn't shown me any real improvement lately.
So we got somebody, AI. Doesn't the much younger fighter usually beat the older fighter, George? Mungia, in this case, fits the bill. No, that's not how that works. Remember a man named Floyd Mayweather? And when he fought the much younger Canelo and he schooled him? So, I think AI I think is just playing around.
Barroso?
Yeah, Barroso was 78 years old, and he was beating
112.
And he was beating Rolly's ass in that fight before he got robbed, and then Rolly got his payback when he fought Pitbull. So I think AI is just playing. AI is just playing with us.
A lot is said about Canelo's mileage, And we're still talking about a 33-year-old. He's not 37. And the 60 plus fights thing, I take that into consideration with an asterisk, because you have to take into consideration the first 25 of his fights ended way early.
Right.
He was knocking people out. So it's not like he was taking a lot of damage that first third of his career. So
yeah, AI is playing. I don't know if you can see the screen, but Ali, he's just countering his own points. So I knew he was playing around. Yeah, Ali was the older fighter, and he beat Foreman. So yeah, I'm with you on that. The mileage, right? Yeah, it doesn't get any bigger than that. But I'm with you with the mileage. Canelo, he hasn't had a ton of. It's not like he's had an Arturo Gatti career, and he's been to the brink of disaster in these fights. He never has. He's took some punishment, but he's never been to the brink and had to fight back and been dropped. And so, yeah, it's an asterisk. Yes, he's had 60-plus fights, but I don't think he's taken a lot. He's gone into fights with injuries like all fighters have.
And zero amateur, right? He went pro for 415?
Yeah, he was super. I think he was 15 when he turned pro, which is crazy to think about. But so the mileage, he's just been doing this for a long time, and it's a long time to get punched in your head for a living. But it's not like he's been. Well, no, I almost got caught in that trap. I almost said he hasn't been super active. He's been the last few years. He has been active. He's been one of the few very active guys out there. So I'm excited, man. It's Friday, and the fights are tomorrow.
I got really hyped this week. Last week I was like, yeah, the Canelo fight's coming up. But this week I'm like, oh shit, here we go.
Yeah, but we're also boxing fans, and we're just gonna be like this. Like when the fight's first made. If it's a fight we're not really looking forward to, like, when it's like 6 weeks away, 4 weeks away, and then the week of, you're like, oh, we got that fight. We got that fight this week. So, yeah, I'm hoping that I watched that first Amazon Prime show, and they kept it moving, the pace of the night. One fight was done. They got the next fight in the ring. That main event, Zuf and Dora, they were in the ring. It must have started around 11 o'clock, 11:15. It was early, and I loved it.
I was going to say that it was like 20 minutes, 30 minutes sometimes on those DAZN cards. And with nothing going on, they're just repeating. It's just verbal vomit for 30 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, Haney and Garcia, they got in the ring. It was after midnight. It was... Maybe it wasn't 12:30, but it was late, man, and there was just no reason to drag it out. But that's what they do. And now DAZN, Amazon Prime, PBC, they didn't do that on the last one. So hopefully this one, they keep it moving. And man, if that main event's in the ring by 11:15, like it'd be a beautiful thing. But we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see. But I'm excited, man. But I'm gonna jump off here, man. And I don't know how many times I've said to you, I'm going to reach out to you about this damn Discord. I'm going to reach out to you about this damn Discord, man.
We'll get it done. We'll get it done, George. You holler at me, man. We'll get it done. It'll only take about an hour.
Hey, one last thing. Does your wife watch the fights with you?
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. See, my
Canelo
wife
is her favorite, so she is
really.
Yeah. She is super hyped.
Wow, how long has she been a Canelo fan?
Probably 154 Canelo. We've been watching Canelo for years.
Okay.
He's been watching fights with me for years, George. We've been together 30 years. So. And I've been a fight fan. I've been a fight fan since I was 5. So.
That's awesome, man. So she'll be watching the fights with you. See, my wife. She'll be asleep. She'll be in bed by 9.
My wife's
9
grandpa
o'clock.
was a huge fight fan, so she grew up watching fights too. So, yeah, it was meant to be.
That's awesome, man. Well, listen, enjoy the fights, and we'll talk before then, and I'll probably be texting you during the fights. So, Enjoy it, man.
I have my phone. I'll beat you to it.
All right, brother.
Have a good one, George.
All right, talk soon, man. My man. AI, so this fight isn't like Oscar De La Hoya versus Chavez Sr. one. See, I knew you were playing, man. I knew you were playing. So yeah, I'm hyped. I'm hyped. It's fight week. I think Canelo's gonna win. I hope it's Benavidez next. It's probably gonna be Berlanga. Although at some point, man, please start stripping this guy. But that's a whole other conversation. So I did an interview with a fighter. First of all, let me preface this. I'm from Jersey. You see Rahway right there. Rahway, New Jersey. So I'm biased. I've got prejudice. I'm biased for Shakur Stevenson, Raymond Ford, Justin Figueroa. Who is Justin Figueroa? He's an unbeaten 154-pounder from Atlantic City. He's got a fight next week. He's 8-0, 6 knockouts. Not many people know who he is. Again, he's 25 years old. He hasn't fought anyone, but he's with Fighters First Management. He's managed by Jolene Mazzone, my friend. So I interviewed Justin this week. I'm going to drop his interview next week because he fights on May 11th in Atlantic City. But here is a little sneak peek at my interview with the unbeaten 154-pound prospect, Justin Time Figueroa. Atlantic City is really important to you, and I know it's important for you to get AC back on the map, but why is it so important? Why is Atlantic City so important to you?
I just remember as I was growing up and my dad teaching me how to fight and teaching me the sport of boxing. It was just all around us. There were fighters coming up. There were fighters that was just finishing up their career. He was just all around the fighters at the time during the early 2000s. And I just remember driving on the Black Horse Pike and the White Horse Pike and the Expressway and seeing billboards of Arturo Gotti and Mayweather. Seeing those guys on the billboards and as a young kid, 5 years old, just getting into boxing, I thought that was the coolest thing in the world to see Gotti on the billboard. So that was big for me. I remember playing Fight Night. I think it was Fight Night 2004 with Roy Jones on it.
I remember Fight Night, yeah.
Me and my I used to always pick Arturo Gotti, and my brother used to pick Roy Jones, and we used to always fight at Boardwalk Hall. So boxing has just been really, really big in my family. 1, 2, I know how big it is here in Atlantic City, and I always loved Atlantic City. I never, I have friends and people around me complaining, I can't wait to get out of here. I can't wait to move. I'm like, I don't want to go anywhere. I love Atlantic City. We got the beach, we got the boardwalk, a lot of entertainment, and I'm a fighter, and this is a fighting city right here. So I'm happy to represent. I know how big boxing was here back in the day, and I'm looking to be the guy to bring it back, to be the fighting pride of Atlantic City.
So there you go. That's Justin Figueroa. And no, Adam, that was not live. I did that earlier in the week. I'm going to play it next week because he fights on May 11th. Justin is a good dude, man. And like I said, I'm for any fighter from Jersey. I remember playing Fight Night 2004. He said he would beat Gotti and his brother was Roy Jones. And I should have said to him, are you crazy? Like, in a video game, you can't beat Roy Jones with Arturo Gotti. So, yeah, man, that's my man right there, Justin Figueroa. There's clips of him on YouTube. He's only 8-0. He's only had 8 fights. So he's from Atlantic City. He's got a lot of personality. He's got some power. He's got some speed. So we'll see. There's another young man at 154, Vito Milnecki. Milnecki's fighting on the undercard tomorrow night, but he's another kid from Jersey. I asked him about fighting Vito, and maybe that'll happen sometime down the road. But I like to talk to these guys that are coming up, and Justin Figueroa is a young fighter. Yeah, definitely check it out, Adam. So he's a guy that he's easy to root for. Justin is a good-looking prospect. Watched some stuff last week. Yeah, and that's what he is. He's a prospect. The interview, he was really good. It was really funny. I'll probably drop it Monday or Tuesday, but it's definitely worth giving a listen. And I'll give there's some his fight's going to be streamed on BoxingInsider.com. I've never been on that site, so I don't know how that's going to be. Jay Rich, truck driver, so currently on the road, but hoping Canelo gets his ass whooped. Man. Wow. You want Canelo to get his ass whooped. You know something? It wouldn't be the worst thing for boxing if Mungia won this fight. Say it was a thriller, man, and it was a back-and-forth fight and Mungia won. Then they have a rematch. Wouldn't be the worst thing if Canelo lost. Boxing never falls apart when a fighter loses. So I just don't see it, Jay. You might want it. See, you said you're hoping, and I know you're driving. So if you're driving a truck, bro, don't even answer. Don't even answer. You might hope Canelo gets beat, but is he? Do you think he's going to get beat? I don't know. AI, are you going to cover the USA Boxing Summer Olympics? If so, any likely medalists? I used to be big into amateur boxing back when it was on TV, back when they would show it in the Olympics. You know, I was a kid for the 84 Olympic team. I had signed autographed pictures of those guys that somehow I lost over the years. The Olympic program, the amateur program in the U.S. is just, it hasn't been good for a while. So I don't know. To answer your question, I'm gonna watch and root for the United States. I just don't know what prospects there are or any likely medalists. I don't know. Big Mouthpiece 1. There's a new one. Hey, make sure you like and subscribe. Big Mouthpiece 1. Didn't Canelo Alvarez call? Yeah, I think he did. And I think a lot of that was in Spanish. So, well, that was the thing. And I'll play it again before I go off. But what you're referencing is...
To be clear, I have nothing but respect for Canelo Alvarez as a fighter. His record and abilities speak for themselves. But he has spent much of the last 2 months insulting me rather than promoting this fight. So I'll make it a little bit easier for him. Yes, I have faced a lot of challenges in my life. Yes, I've been to rehab several times.
Who wrote this for Oscar?
Yes, there were some really low points in my life, and yes, there were times that work was not my priority based on my mental health, which I had neglected for so long. But that doesn't change the fact that Golden Boy built Canelo Alvarez, period. The company you fought under for decades has always had one name, and it's mine. So put some respect on it. As for Jaime, he has always dared to be great.
Don't talk to me like that.
This Saturday night.
Don't talk to me like that.
And this serves as a bit of a source.
Oscar got a little rattled.
Remember when Jaime was 21 years old, volunteered to step in against Triple G, and Canelo failed 2 drug tests? Though Jaime wasn't allowed to fulfill his dream, 2018, on Saturday night, he will do just that, fulfill his dream and be world champion.
So, yeah, there you go. He definitely got into Canelo's head in that moment. But so Adam's another one that wants Canelo to lose. I really don't care. I think he's going to win. So Big Surge, have a great day, George. Like I said, hopefully Mungia comes up with a great plan and wins. Bivol style, sort of. I really think he can pull up, but whoever wins, it's a win for everyone. I mean, he doesn't fight anything near Bivol. So I don't see that. Jay, yeah, man, look, everyone yesterday talked about Ryan Garcia, so there really wasn't much I could add, except that I thought he made a fool of himself. I know he said he was trolling people, but I don't even want to repeat the things he said about how he was molested as a kid and all this other stuff. Like, he brought up serious things. So, yeah, we spoke, and he's got 10 days to get his B sample tested. If he refuses, then the win is turned into a no contest, and he's going to face some kind of fines. We'll see what happens with the B. You really can't say until this plays out. Regular Bob, man, I hope you subscribe and hit the like. Oscar was right. Ducknello has been talking behind Oscar's back for years. Oscar has been making money in the promotion game before all them boys. Oscar is a G. Canelo is a spoiled brat. All right. Spoiled brat. Yeah, Oscar is a G. I'll give that. But, you know, when they were on that podium, there was a moment.
For the last two to rehab several times.
There's a moment. Watch
Yes.
Oscar.
There were some really low, but that doesn't change the fact that Golden Boy built Canelo Alvarez, period.
Now, hang on.
The company you fought under for decades has always had one name, and it's mine. So put some respect on it.
Now, watch. At some point, Canelo started talking, and Oscar started. I thought Oscar looked a little shook at
As
one
for
point.
Jaime, he has always dared to be great, just as he's this Saturday night.
Right there.
And this serves as a bit of a full circle for him. Remember when Jaime was 21 years old?
So anyway, I could keep watching that stuff. So yeah, man, that was the funnest part of the week for me. And then of course after that, that's when all the Ryan Garcia stuff happened. So regular Bob, I think Mungia's youth overwhelms Canelo. I hope Mungia pulls out a dub, baby. I hear you. That's the thing. But do you really think he will? You think his youth is over? Okay. Well, he's going to have to. He's going to have to overcome a lot. And if Mungia pulls this off, it's a big upset. And I think it's great for boxing. We'll see a rematch. I think it's a great thing if Mungia. I don't see him doing it. I think a lot of people want him to win, but Adam Hurley, I just like the fact that we know Mungia is not going to come in there like Charlo. Yeah, well, we know that. That's why there's a lot more excitement for this fight, because Mungia has a proven track record. He's got a proven track record. He's going to fight. He's going to bring it. So for Canelo to win, he's going to have to go through some stuff. Tech them that he went and be. Yeah, I loved it, man. I loved it. AI, has anyone ever attacked Canelo's body or liver like Mungia does against his opponents? I don't really remember. Triple G didn't. Triple G was a really good body puncher, and I don't remember him really targeting Canelo's body, because remember, Canelo isn't there to just be hit. He's going to hit you back. Regular Bob, I love it. Oscar is creating a storyline. He is a great promoter. I loved it too. I think part of it was promotion, but there's feelings in there too. Because if Oscar could have kept Canelo, of course you want to keep the biggest name in boxing. Of course you want to. So I think part of it was theatrics, but part of it is also real. Regular Bob, boxing needs more storyline. You know what? It does, but it needs more storylines like just beefing and feuds. We don't need the Ryan Garcia nonsense, because that's not storylines. It's turning into what it's going to turn into. Oscar Canelo beef is good for boxing. I agree. Banana bread, what's going on? Do networks ever tell you don't be too critical of our fighter when commentating? It seemed like everyone at HBO knew that Triple G won the first fight, but couldn't really say. I was at HBO. I was not a commentator, but I was at HBO for 15 years, and I was in meetings, and I worked a lot of live fights, and they never told a commentator, to my knowledge, not to say certain things. Remember the things Larry Merchant used to say? If anything, and I loved Larry, if anything, they told him not to say certain things. So, no. And I also, Tim Bradley, my friend who works for ESPN, I've talked to him about this too. And because he got a lot of criticism in the Shakur fight against De Los Santos. And he said that no one has ever at ESPN told him to favor the home fighters or talk about a certain fighter or not to say a certain thing. And I take him at his word. I believe him. I know at HBO. Now, I left there in 2014. Did things change after that? I doubt it. But nobody, in fact, you hire those guys for their opinions. So no, they're not They're not given. They weren't given those instructions. Regular Bob, boxing needs to take away from the UFC that storylines are important in selling fights, and that is what Oscar is doing. Regular Bob, I couldn't agree with you more. There should be more storylines. There should be more pre-fight promotions, shows like All Access, 24/7. There should be more of these things. There should be more. We should be promoting storylines. I agree 1,000%. There should be more features. No one does features anymore on Fight Night. It's very rare. I don't know, man. I've done shows about storytelling and boxing, and I was gonna be done with this 15 minutes ago, but Jay Rich, Mungia average. Hey Jay, are you driving a truck right now, man? You better be careful. Mungia averages 60 punches a round. Wonder how many he puts up this weekend. I guarantee you that after 3 rounds, I shouldn't guarantee, man, because then I'm setting myself up to lose. But I don't think, if you look after 3 rounds, is he going to be averaging 60? I don't think so. Not unless we have a Hagler-Hearns type fight. And man, wouldn't that be something? I mean, you start thinking about all Mexican matchups, and of course Morales Barrera comes to mind. And if this fight is like that, but if it's like I could see it being like a Hagler-Hearns. But regular Bob, Canelo's foot movement is slowing down. Canelo might be there for his body to get hit this time. Does he get old overnight? I don't think so. I don't. Anything can happen. I don't think that happens. Tech Dundad, Triple G is a body worker, but he couldn't land the hard shots. Canelo has good defense. Got to give him that. He takes away fighters' offense with defense, making them worry what's coming back. Yeah, that's the point. You have to be aware of what's coming back. AI, you're funny, man. The whole age thing. And I know you were being sarcastic. Bring back Bobby Chez, Foreman, and Roy Jones to box. Yeah, I'm with you. Bobby Chez, man, now you have my, not that this matters to you, but you have my deepest respect that you even know who Bobby Chez is. And by the way, you see the Raw Way, that's New Jersey. Bobby Chez is a fighter from my youth. He's from New Jersey as well. And Bobby Chez was an awesome analyst. He really was a great analyst, and then he wasn't. And now I don't know what he's doing now. Foreman, I like George. George was entertaining. Roy Jones, it's criminal that Roy Jones isn't calling fights. And I'm assuming he doesn't want to do it full time. That's my assumption, because I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus, but Roy Jones should be announcing fights. Jim Lampley should be announcing fights. Al Bernstein, I hear, is doing some DAZN fight, or he's doing a DAZN fight. I don't think he's on the main DAZN telecast. But yeah, I'm with you, man, especially Roy. Tech Dumb Dad, going to be too scared of what's coming back after he gets hit clean. I see it a lot with Canelo's opponents. Yeah, and maybe scared is too strong a word, but he's going to feel it. He's going to feel it. TBR. Hey, George, curious who would think Prime Canelo versus Prime Oscar. When I was with ProBox, when we would do sparring sessions, this was, and I would come up with all the topics for Paulie and Chris, and Paulie and Chris were never, ever prepped. Never prepped for this stuff. And we had this. We had at 154. We did it, and I'm going with Oscar. I'm going with Oscar over 154. I just don't think Oscar was really good at 160. Definitely not 168. But yeah, I got Oscar in their primes at 154. People forget, man. People forget about the past. And Oscar was a great fighter. He was a great fighter. Jay Rich, professional driver that can tight without looking. Won't miss the show. All right. Well, Jay, I take you at your word. So, I got you. I got you. Banana Bread, thank you for your honesty. Obviously, HBO had some journalistic integrity because DAZN operates very differently. Canelo Canelo can beat Ali, Tyson, and Foreman all in one night over there. Yeah, I don't know. I've done some work with DAZN, but not for a while. I really don't know how they operate. Chris Mannix, look, he's come a long way, man. When I was producing countdown shows, we used to call them with HBO. It was before the 24/7 days, and I interviewed him a few times way back. He wouldn't remember, but yeah, I don't know how it works there over at DAZN. I really don't. Regular Bob, John Ryder was interviewed by Boxing News this morning, and he said that Mungia is a harder puncher than Canelo. Ryder also said that Mungia has more volume than Canelo. Well, okay. I mean, I respect what he said, but Ryder also faced Mungia. Excuse me. Ryder also faced Mungia after taking all that punishment against Canelo. So shot for shot, Mungia might be a harder hitter. But I just don't think Mungia is going to be able to sustain that volume against Canelo because he's going to be taking shots back. Now, if it comes out like a Hagler fight, that's for boxing, man. That's good for boxing. TDR. If you want subscribers to debate, I'd be down to do a sparring session with someone else. That was one of the best parts of my TDR. Yeah, man. Talking about it, I had to actually do it though. Like, just do it. I still got the full time, so I don't know where my full time went. It's around somewhere. But yeah, man, we're gonna get something like that for sure. Regular Bob, he also mentioned Ryder also mentioned Ryder said he wishes he would stop inside and fight Canelo. Bobby couldn't because of his nose. Well, yeah, but what happened to his nose? Maybe it's because I'm getting too loud. Maybe I should just move it away. How about that? G Nunez, my man G Nunez. My mic sounds distorted. Is that better? I moved it away from myself a little bit, so let me know. Maybe I was getting too loud. I don't know. Greater Bob Mungia also mentioned that. Oh, I already played that. The Bob Ryder also said Canelo has more thudding power, whereas Mungia is a sharper puncher. I respect everything. I respect everything that Ryder, like I respect fighters, so I respect their opinions, and he's giving his opinion. He's been in with both guys. Audio still not loud and clear. What's up with my audio? Let me take a look. Excuse me for this. Stereo. 1 2 1 2. How about now? Voice is coming in distorted. How about now? Is it any better now? 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Man, this would happen at the very end. 1 2 3 1 2 3. Oh well. Voice is coming in distorted. Man, that sucks. I don't know what. That's too. Okay. So all right. Man, my mic was muted. So how would you see a prime Ray Robinson versus prime Ray Leonard going at 47? Ray Robinson, everyone says, is the GOAT. Obviously, I never saw him fight live. So it's hard to go against him, but now it's on mute. Jesus. Man. Now I'm good. Ugh. So there we go. After an hour of my audio being terrible. So it's hard to be Sugar Ray Robinson. It's hard with these older fighters. Paulie Malignaggi, he's watched film and he thinks Sugar Ray Robinson was overrated. I don't know, man. He was a great fighter, great welterweight. Sugar Ray Leonard was one of the best fighters of all time as well. So how would I see it going? I see it being a fantastic fight, man. It'd be a great fight, and I never go against Sugar Ray Leonard. So Robinson was a powerhouse and could box. Yeah, he could. Yeah, he could. Now I hope that yikes is because the audio is okay. But AI bigger hype job, Jared Anderson or Berlanga? Well, hype job. All we've been hearing is that Jared Anderson is the next American heavyweight champion. So the hype doesn't get bigger than that. It doesn't get bigger than that. Berlanga, what did he knock out? 14, 15, 16 guys in the first round. But they weren't very talented fighters. And you see what's happened when the talent level is risen. And he's got issues with his people too, Berlanga. But definitely, if you're talking about hype, Jared Anderson, just because of the hype of him being a potential American heavyweight champion, is he going to live up to it? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't think Jared has a mental takes great. Well, that's yeah. I see why people think that. It's why he said in the issues he's had outside the ring. So we'll see. He doesn't seem to love boxing, but yikes! Paulie Sugar was overrated. Well, maybe he didn't say he was overrated, but he said something about looking at those old fight films. But listen, make sure you like, subscribe, check out the fights tomorrow night on Amazon. And by the way, I'm gonna watch this Echo and Feedback again, George. Unplug and plug your mic back in. Damn. On to Echo and Feedback. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Man, well, RoboCop audio is insane. Boxing analyst, what's going on? I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on with my mic, but I'll get it fixed before the next one. But make sure you like and subscribe. Now I'm good. All right. Well, I don't know what's going on, but I can't wait for the fights. I'm watching. I know some people over at ppv.com, and they sent me a link. So shout out to ppv.com and things they do with it over there. They got Jim Lampley, they have Dan Canobio, Chris Algieri, and they're all in a live chat. So I'm going to check that out and see how that is. So I'm going to check them out on ppv.com. Jim Lampley should be calling the fights, though. He should be announcing the fights. So that's what I think. So I'm going to check out ppv.com. So either that night, either tomorrow night or maybe Sunday, I'm going to give my analysis on ppv.com and how they do. I watched some of Chris on PPV yesterday. Yeah, I think they're going to do a live. They're going to do a live after the fight. Pro Box, I'm sure, still does lives after the fight. So there's a lot of competition. So maybe I'm just a little Jersey guy, man. Maybe I shouldn't go live because there's a lot of people that are going to be in those. Because I would want to hear the fighters talk too. So I'm going to check out ppv.com and I'm going to see how their broadcast is. I'm looking forward to talking about that. And I know it's a live chat with Jim. I'm really, because I watch on my TV. I don't watch on my computer. So I'm not really into the whole watching a fight and chatting. Like I just, man, I'm not watching on my computer. I'm not watching on my phone. I'm watching on my TV, and I'm watching. So, but I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna see because Chris and Dan are my boys. Jim is my guy. So, I want to see what that's all about. PPV.com. I don't work for them, so I'm plugging them because they gave me a link, and I do not have to pay for the fight. Go live. We will show up, George. I appreciate that. Listen, it's fun talking boxing. That's all. It's fun talking boxing. So I'm excited. Make sure you check it out. Justin Figueroa, who fights next week. I have an interview with him that I will drop next week. Yeah. Now, ppv.com, you can download the app. You can watch it on TV. So if I misled anyone, I set up an account and I downloaded it on my TV. So I'm watching it on my TV. So I'm curious to how it works and how they do this live chat. So I'll check it out. It should be interesting. So you got the app on your TV, yeah. So I just downloaded it yesterday. They actually sent me a link for the first one, because like I said, I know some people that work there. But I'm shout out to Fred Sternberg, who's their publicist, Hall of Fame publicist, by the way. So I'm looking forward to the fights, man. I'm looking forward to the fight. So make sure you like and subscribe. And see, every time I say I'm gonna stop, a live fight stream here would be nice. Great idea. You mean like me talking? Yeah, but AI. Who's gonna watch that? Like, why wouldn't people just watch the fight? I mean, I don't know, because I know people do that. I know people. They stream during they're watching the fights and they're calling the fights. I just don't. I only did that once. I watched that once, and it was with Sean Zattel. Shout out to Sean. It was for Zhang and Ergovich. I was driving. That fight was on like during the afternoon, and I couldn't watch it because I was driving. But on YouTube, I had my phone set up and I went to Sean Zattel's. I think he was with Fight Hype, and I watched it. I listened as I was driving, and he did a really good job. So I did that out of necessity, but I would never just if I'm home, unless it's Jim Lampley, doing a live stream. I'll watch that, but I don't know. Zadell been putting in some work during Friday. Well, yeah, man, he hustles. He's out there in Vegas. I think he lives out in Vegas, and he does a lot with the Porterway podcast. I like Sean. I want to have a conversation with him. Just find out about his background, and that's what I love to hear why guys love boxing. My wife asks me a lot, like, why do you love it? Why do you love boxing? And I tell her why, and she doesn't seem to like my answers because she keeps asking, like, why? Like, she said this week, oh, this Ryan Garcia stuff. Like, why do you like this? And I have to tell her, if you love boxing, it's not because of Ryan Garcia and his nonsense. It's not. That's not the reason. Everybody out there knows it. Everyone out there knows that. Need a live with you and Sean. A Q&A with him would be sweet. Yeah, it would. Because Sean, I just like talking to people who, I mean, I'll talk to anyone about boxing, but people that really have a passion for it. It's awesome. Just One Punch. That's a new name. Love the channel. You should have Sean Zattel on the show. Both of you are very knowledgeable and have a lot of insight on fighters. Yeah, I would love to. I don't have a number for him, but we've gone back and forth on Instagram. So at some point, maybe next week. Next week is kind of a slow week, although we have Lomachenko Kambosos later in the week. So yeah, shout out to Sean. Sean, he knows his stuff. So, and I don't even call what I do interviews. It's just conversations. But a Q&A, yeah, it would be. So all right, I was gonna do this for 30 minutes, but it's been over an hour. So make sure you check out the fights. I'm gonna check them out on ppv.com. But maybe we'll go. Maybe I'll go live after the fight. But I'm looking forward to the fights, and it's Friday. You ain't got no job. I do have a job, so. Dr. Talk, what's up, bro? Who is a real doctor, by the way. Very smart man here. Yeah, we got the monster early in the week. Is that Monday or Tuesday? I can't remember. I think it's Monday. I think that one's Monday. So that'll be perfect, man. It's one of those like early AM on the East Coast fights. So I'm excited about that. The last time you've seen a standing 8 count in the pros, there have been standing 8 counts. Man, my memory recall on that stuff, like it'll come to me. It'll come to me when I'm done with this live. I ain't got shit. Yeah, but there have been standing 8 counts for sure in the pros, but you don't see them. It's Friday. You ain't got no job. I should watch. Maybe every week it should be mandatory to watch Friday. It should be You know what? I'll tell man. Maybe this is therapy. I don't know. So I love horror movies and love comedies. So years ago, I was living at my grandmother's house, and I was in the house alone. It was kind of a big house, but like an old house. So one night I got in, and I was like, man, I want to watch a scary movie. So I said, I'm gonna throw Exorcist in. So I threw Exorcist in, and I'm by myself, and you start hearing the house making noises. So I took that DVD out. I was by myself, and I put Friday in because I had to clear the energy and the vibe. So I put Friday in so I could laugh. So yeah, maybe every Friday should be mandatory to watch the movie Friday, because it's Friday. Yes, sir. You ain't got no job. Lance Meyer, good morning, brother. Yeah. And you live to fight another day. Yeah, it's such a good movie. So yeah, maybe that should be it. So go watch when you got some downtime. There's no fights tonight, I don't think. Watch Friday. So shout out again to the Knicks. They move on. I used to be a huge Knicks fan, but the Knicks are in the playoffs, and they move on. Tech Dumb Dad. I didn't watch The Exorcist until I was 19 years old. My wife made me watch it. I didn't sleep very well that night. Man, that movie still scares me. That movie was done in 1970 something. But I don't know, man. I love horror movies, and comedies. So yeah, it's Friday. Yeah, it was terrifying. It still is. That movie still scares me. Just One Punch. Love the intro, by the way. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's short, Shout out to Carl Weathers, Apollo Creed. He's in there too. So yeah. So make sure you check out the fights. I'll go live at some point. Not that anyone cares, because this is just like, it's just fun. It's just fun to talk. Oh, hang on now. The Knicks are the Cambosis version of the Hunt. So you're saying the Knicks suck. So you're saying the Knicks suck. I'm not as big a basketball fan as I used to be. Now, my team was the team that couldn't beat Michael Jordan and should have beat the Rockets in '94. Ewing and Starks and Oakley and Mason and Derek Harper and those guys. So the Knicks have been kind of perennial losers for a long time. My dog is about to go crazy because a truck just drove by. But I'm not as big a basketball fan as I used to be. But there is some excitement with them. There's some excitement with the Knicks now. But if you're saying, because I'm sorry, Kambosos is not going to beat Lomachenko. So you're saying the Knicks are never going to win a title. Shout out to Kambosos. He did win a title. So there is no tomorrow. Sad about my Heat. Yeah, see, I didn't. Yeah, I did say it, AI. And yes, rest in peace, Anthony Mason. That's those were my Knicks. Like that squad, man, they should have beat. First of all, they should have beat the Bulls when they were up 2-0 in like 92 or 93. And then they should have beat, man, they should have beat Houston. They should have beat Houston. Anyway, yeah, shout out to the Knicks. So they move on to round 2 against Indiana. But we got boxing tomorrow night. This is like my 8th time ending this live. 10:36. All right, that's not bad for saying I was going to do it 30 minutes. But nobody's home, so I don't feel the pressures of having to do anything. So, see, people keep... Have a great day, fight fans. Talk to you soon. Yes, sir. Everybody, have a fantastic Friday. It's Friday. Watch Friday. Make sure you like and subscribe. And check out the fights tomorrow night. I'm going Canelo, TKO, 8-10. I think Canelo's going to get the job done. But if Jaime Mungia wins, man, I'm not mad. All right, everyone.